You, you know, we talked a bit about it before we started to record. I mean, you've been, in this, this go-to consultant, right? For, tons of different types of orgs, and a lot of it stems around the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that was before it became in vogue, around this
Yes,
time last year, right?
yes.
Um, Speak to that, and so some of the conversations that you maybe had to, you know, open folks' eyes up to before, that maybe they're seeing a little bit more, or it's more in their face now. Before, you may have had to uh, force them to kind of look at some things from a different perspective.
Well, one of the things that I want to keep in mind is when we talk about the events of last year, which were traumatic in and of itself, though they became a critical catalyst for moving some of these organizations, or at least accelerating the rate in which they started to embrace DEI, that diversity, equity, and inclusion had really been a discussion that's been going on for almost 20 years now. Now, we didn't call it that.
Wow.
In the early days, we called it affirmative action. Later on, we called it value and diversity, and a number of different things in between all that. So the process itself has been moving along. It was the unfortunate, you know, catalyst of events last year in which lives were lost that really threw it into the forefront. And while no one wants it to happen that way, it happened that way and presented an opportunity in which and the society got a chance to look at itself in the mirror and ask yourself, is this really what you want to be about?
Yeah.
Is this completely reflective of what's going on, or do you want to be about something better? And
Mm.
so whenever I talk about the DEI as a kind of a historical process, I ultimately come to that question, well, what do you want to look like going forward?
Yeah.
And can we be better? Can you do better? Are there opportunities in which to do that? Can we engage in discussion that's that's a little more than just on the surface? Can we really get deep into dialogue and really come to understand who we are as people on this planet, sitting in this big part of a universe that's still undiscovered, unexplored, and hey, let's put everything in perspective here. Right?
Yeah.
Let's put
No.
everything in perspective. So so
Yeah.
so that's been a lot of the discussion, trying to get organizations positioned to understand this. And the other piece, Baxter, and I think you and your group have seen this as well, even if they don't like the idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion, the demographics say you don't have a choice anyway, because
Right.
there's your talent. All right.
That's right.
Where are you gonna find your talent? Folks
That's
say, we
right.
know, well, we don't have enough. American universities don't graduate enough engineers, and we have this incredible demand for engineers. Well, where are you going to look? All right, if you're not getting enough from the colleges and universities, you got to look elsewhere. Well, you look overseas. You look in China. You look in the Middle East. You look at South America. Wherever engineering folks can be found, that's where you find them.
That's right.
So even if you don't like the idea of internal organizational change based on the fact that different folks are coming to the workplace, the demographics alone dictate that you don't have a choice. So you
That's
might as well figure out, how do we best embrace this so that we can continue to be competitive and profitable.
that's right.
So
Because it speaks to the
I
bottom line as
understand
well.
corporate lingo. I understand the corporate lingo.
Yeah, right. However, you need to sort of make them, accept it, right? Because when you start talking to the bottom line, it's not just a warm and fuzzy. This is just good,
Right,
because it should be enough, but it's typically not, right? You have to
right.
speak to people's pockets and speak to trends and everything, right? And say, hey, we're going here with or without this company. Unfortunately, if you don't catch up or keep
You
up,
will be, you will lag behind.
that's
You will
right.
lag behind because this workforce, they've got options. They've got options. They've got other places that they can look. And for a number of them, even the notion of, I can work for myself,
Hello.
becoming more and more prominent
That's
as
right.
more and more individuals start to embrace that. So if these places are going to remain competitive, I mean, technology will only take you so far.
That's right.
You still have to, you may say, well, we have robots that can do that. Yeah, but somebody's got to design them, somebody's got to maintain them,
Yeah.
someone's got to fix them, and those are called engineers.
That's right.
Someone's got to support them, that's called technical staff. Somebody's got to get them to you, that's called, truck drivers. So
Right.
it's, so that equation is still going to be there no matter what's going on.
That's right. And at Capnick, like coming from the insurance side, the employee benefits side, but also on the commercial side, one of the things that we do on employee benefits is like, okay, where are you today? Let's hold up this mirror and figure out, okay, where are you today?
Yes.
And once we can have an honest conversation about that, where do you want to be? Now we can start working on a game plan, but we got to identify where you are today. You're trying to get to Chicago, we may already be in Chicago.
Right.
And we don't realize it. We could be 11,000 miles or 11 minutes away. We don't know until we kind of, force people to kind of look in that mirror and then start to create those objectives, right? Same for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where do you sit now in the marketplace? How do you want to progress? How do you want your current team to view you? How do you want your current clients to view your potential clients? All those things matter, right?
They matter a great deal. And if we really begin to slice through this, a lot of ways it comes down to it being a talent acquisition issue. All right, I could put talent acquisition at the bottom of the pyramid or at the bottom of this platform and say, but on this platform sits diversity, equity, and inclusion, since transgender, sits technology, sits the hybrid workplace. There's a whole number of things that are just kind of operating here. So on that platform, if I just make the talent acquisition argument, we can say to organizations, do you want to have access to the talent that's out there? And if you do, this is who they are. And this is how you have to go about not only just acquiring the talent, but attaining and retaining that talent.
That's right. That's right.